Welcome back to Wealthy Mentor Trading, guys. Today is November the 27th, 2022, and today I'm going to be looking at the S&P 500 along with the tech sector, semiconductor sector, Dow Jones, the financial sector, healthcare sector, and the energy sector to give you guys an overall outlook if we are ready to create a trend change and ready to go on a bull run in December, right? But before we get started, guys, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And be sure to subscribe to the channel as we do release these videos every Sunday. We also have our promo right now, our Discord promo at Wealthy Mentor Trading, where we discuss everything that is going to be talked about today. We also day trade, swing trade, get you ready for the market open and overall outlook throughout the week, right? So as I did mention, we do have the S&P 500 chart here. And if you guys have been following along last week, I was looking at that move towards 40.50, and we got that, right? We slightly closed below 40.50, and that's exactly what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for that break above 40.50 to create the trend change where we can get over and break this trend line that we've had since the all-time highs up at 4,800. As you guys can see here, we've had multiple rejections on the weekly where we couldn't break it. We had the most recent one recently at, I would say, around August, where we got a nice rejection and we fell to all-time lows this year, right? And here we are again approaching that test area, right? That 40.50 trend line test to finally break through. As you guys know, I am looking for a complete candle body close right here. We got closed underneath and over here underneath and again underneath here. So I'm looking for a full candle body above the 40.50 line to give me some sort of confirmation that we are going to move higher. So the first thing I'm going to be looking at this week is 40.50, obviously, to see if we can break above that. If we can, I do have targets of 41.25, which is the big number for me. It creates that candle body close above 40.50, and it tests this area of resistance where we got a rejection back on September, right? Which pretty much led to all-time lows. So keep guys in mind that 40.50 is that main hurdle, and the take profit target is that 41.25, and you want to see a close above 40.50. That's the most important thing. Now, if we get a rejection at 40.50, where could we see ourselves going? Pretty much, guys, we could see a drop all the way to 3,900. It is key support, as you guys can see here. We did bounce off it a few times, and it is supported by the 9 EMA. So that is a big line for me. 3,900 is that pullback area where we could see a rejection at 40.50 coming back down. So keep your eyes on the S&P 500. And I'm also going to be looking at other sectors that have already made the trend change, right? So the first one being that I'm going to be looking at that is close to a trend change is the tech sector, and that's QQQ. And looking at it right here, guys, similar pattern as the S&P 500. And as you guys know, the tech sector is a major sector with the markets overall. It was one of the leading sectors back in 2021 and 2020, where it pretty much ran so hard that everything else was obsolete, right? The Dow Jones wasn't as important. The semiconductor sector, even though it was strong, it wasn't the leading sector, but it was a tech one, right? So tech, again, much like the S&P 500, has been rejected down this trend line. And for me, I am looking at a break above 292, right? It is a rejection point where we got rejected last week. However, we are still above the 9 EMA, so that is healthy. I am looking for that 292 break, right? So above 292, we have that 304 target and 316.5 target. What I want to see is a close above 292, right? Like much like the S&P 500, I want to see a full candle body close above 40.50. Tech sector, same thing. Full candle body close above 292. And if we can get above that and hit 304, that would be great. And obviously, if we're really bullish and the markets do run, 316.5 is a key one. And it is another one that solidifies the trend change. As you guys can see here, it was a key bounce area. And to me, it's one of those big ones right here, right? So 316 and 304 are major targets, but I'll be happy with a close above 292. That could tell me that we are on the right track to pretty much push higher. So Keep your eyes on the tech sector. If we do get a pullback, 280 is clear support. It's support right here, as you guys can see, where we bounced off and went higher. So on the way down, it's support. And it is supported by the 9 EMA, which we are currently holding at the very moment. All right, so that's the tech sector. And again, this is one of those sectors that you got to look at to see if the S&P 500 is going to move higher. Another important one, as I did mention, is the semiconductor sector, right? SMH, and SMH has been running pretty hot recently. And again, it's one of those names that it's due for that trend change, right? I'm looking for a break above 228.5, a full candle body close. As you guys can see, we are very high above the 9 EMA. So if we do get a pullback, watch that 216 line for shorting opportunities down to 207. And that's where I would instruct students to take profit because it is supported by that 9 EMA. And if you look at the tech sector, again, it is supporting that 9 EMA as well. So it does hold weight, along with 207 being clear support from prior body closes right here on the candlesticks, right? So it is an area where we did receive a bounce from previously. So 207 is sort of having two lines of support, the 9 EMA and the overall previous history of the S&P 500 where we bounced off from. So watch the semiconductor sector for a break above 228.5. And if we do get that, guys, I do have this major target right here at that 246.5. Now it is a large target, but it's one of the most significant ones. We had a rejection right here back on August and another one back on May where we could not break 246.5, right? So that is a major one right here. However, to create this trend change, to break past this down sloping line, I want to see a candle body close above 228.5 to end off the week. All right, so that is the semiconductor sector, leading us into the Dow Jones, which is the transportation sector. DJX is the ticker, and the Dow Jones is faring much better, right? Dow Jones has already been one of the leading sectors so far, and to create this trend change, as you guys can see here, it has broken above the trend line, which is pretty important. So, which is exactly what I'm trying to see on the tech sector and the S&P 500. As you guys can see, we've had two candle body closes above the trend line, which is great. Now, for the final test, that 343.5 line is a major one. Obviously, we've had a rejection here back on August, and we are testing it at the moment. We did close last week very bullish, as you guys can see here, closing at the very top without even a wick in sight. And for me, that leads me to believe that we are ready for a continued move higher. And if we do get that, guys, which is amazing because it does show us that there are other sectors in the market that are already primed and ready to go, and it could lead to clues that the tech sector and the semiconductor sector might follow, right? So those are the laggards, and this is the leader at the moment. And I'm looking for that 343.5 break, right? We do have targets of 351 and 355, and that is the next major test, right? At 355 and 351, we've had long wicks here. We're represented by a rejection where we got to push down. So 343 is another big one. So keep your eyes on that. Now, if we do get a pullback, much like the other sectors, we have ran quite hot, and the 9 EMA is pointing right back down to 326. So what am I looking at if we do get a pullback? 332.5 is that line where I'm going to be instructing students at Wealthy Mentor Trading, right, to take positions, right? We're going to look at the overall market conditions on the S&P 500, what's happening. Like I said, we do have a lot of economical information, again, with the job numbers and whatnot. So that could definitely play a role of what the overall market will look like going into the week. But on a pullback, 332.5 is that line you want to watch. If we get a break below that, 326 is my target, my bearish target, which is supported by a key support line where we bounced off from, and it is supported by the 9 EMA. So again, we got two support points, which is pretty important. All right, so that is the transportation sector, Dow Jones. And moving on to the financial sector. So that is XLF. And XLF, I'm going to make it short and sweet here, guys. Again, Another sector that has already made that trend change. We are above that trend line where we broke past that key area of back on August around that $36 line, and we are moving higher, guys. So again, this is one of those sectors that you should also watch to judge the overall market outlook, and we can pretty much get a run up all the way down to test the bottom of these wicks right here, and it is that 36.82 line. To me, it's important to get past that. It also creates a different trend change where we've had multiple support points at this line, and now this support turns into resistance. So I'm looking for a break above that 36.80, $37, just for round numbers sake, for a test of higher levels, right? So I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. I do want to see a break above this line right here at $36, test 37, and see where we head up. All right, so that is the financial sector. It is looking good. It is above the trend line. So far, we got the Dow Jones, we got the financial sector, leading us into the healthcare sector, which is XLV. XLV is the healthcare sector, and the healthcare sector is one of the best ones, right? We are at a point where we are approaching near all-time highs, guys. It's not too far away where we have 143 all-time highs. We did close Friday's session at 137, which is a key point of resistance, as you guys can see here, a rejection point back in 2021 August. Here we are right now in the end of November, testing that line once again. If we break above that, guys, we are looking at that 141 area of rejection where we got a hit back on last December and got a push down. So above 137, I'm looking at 141 targets, and if we get past that, there's nothing stopping us from hitting that 143.42 all-time highs, right? Now, on a pullback, again, guys, I could see us dropping down to 131.5. It is a key support zone. Again, it is supported by the 9 EMA. You know, we ran pretty hot this past couple of weeks, and a pullback may be in the horizons this week, right? On the S&P 500, it is at that point. Tech sector, it is at that point. Semiconductor, it is at that point. Those could lead clues for a rejection and a drop down. We are running pretty hot right now, and we could cool down. So this is an area where I'm looking at 131.5 if we get a pullback on the healthcare sector. And leading us to the final sector and the strongest sector of the year, it is the energy sector, and that is XLE. XLE has ran hot all year, and if you have been invested into this sector, not only are you getting a nice dividend, but you're also beating the market, right? You're also beating the market in the overall grand scheme of things, where everything's pretty much down. Many people that I speak to, their portfolios are down 50-60%, and not many of them were interested in the energy sector. And here we are in the energy sector. It is creating all-time highs, consolidating underneath that 95 line, which is what I'm looking for a blue sky breakout. We do have clear support at 87.5. Again, it is a line of support, and it is holding by the 9 EMA. So on a pullback, if we cannot hold 87.5, I am looking for shorting opportunities down to 80.5. However, overall, if the S&P 500 runs higher, you're definitely going to see the energy sector also follow through in breaking above $95 to create that blue sky breakout. So definitely watch the energy sector. Keep your eyes on the healthcare and financial sector as they are heading higher. They have already created that trend change. So far, the laggards have been the tech sector and the semiconductor sector, which is funny because those were the leading sectors in 2021, and they are the ones that are hurting the most in 2022. Obviously, when you run up so high, you're going to fall back even harder. So it makes sense. A 100% revision to the means is what we saw on the tech and the semis, and now we are at a point where we could change the trend, right, guys? So that's why I dubbed this title, is the S&P 500 ready for a bull run? Is it incoming? We're going to have to wait and see. Please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click that like button, and be sure to check us out at Wealthy Mentor Trading. The link is in the description for $49 this month. Spots are running out. Thank you so much, guys, and see you guys next week.